Hold on, we're not active yet. For some reason, YouTube's having an issue, so hold on.
That's what I was saying. I was wondering, could we all see that? Because I saw it in the corner.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute.
One in five suffer.
Erase the stigma.
Brain difference is not a crime.
Mental health isn't just your problem.
It's our problem.
And now, Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays.
I'm Marla.
And I'm Dave, and we're so glad that Marla is back. She's been, matter of fact, she's got that glow.
You know what? I was, for those who, just a quick flash reminder, I spent the last 2 weeks in Hawaii with my grandson and family. And of course, you know, everybody's joy is overshadowed by what has happened in Maui, and that is heartbreaking to the moon and beyond. And we've been regulars on that island, on the island of Kauai for 28 years. So, you know, all we can do is pray and support the best that we can, but this is when we need to come together. So
absolutely. And as in support of the mental health the issues that could be there, we want to remind you to text the word GIVE, GIDE, to 818-698-1021 and support our $1 Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign. The theme for today is transforming pain into beauty. Our guest is Emily Wu Truong. She's an artist and an active NAMI member. Emily is also scheduled to be a keynote speaker at NAMI National's upcoming second annual free and virtual Pathways to Hope conference, August 26th through 27th. When we come back, we have a great conversation with Emily in store for you. You don't want to miss it. Be right back.
When Dave and Marla get together, it's hot.
Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley believe it doesn't take much to make life a little better for our neighbors, coworkers, friends, our family members, even our children who suffer with mental illness. When you support our $1 Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign, you are doing your part to erase the stigma surrounding mental illness. For just $1 today, or $1 a day for 1 week, just $7, we can look forward to a future that does not include the unfortunate and uncomfortable stares, bullying, and the subsequent isolation that our loved ones who suffer with brain differences deal with. Text the word GIVE, that's GIVE, to 818-698-1021 to donate. $1 today keeps the stigma away. Brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley.
All right, we are indeed back. Emily, welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. I have to tell you right off the bat that your appearance definitely collides with your introduction and your tag. As far as we're transforming pain into beauty, you've done that. You've definitely done the beauty part.
Oh, thank you so much.
So now we want to hear a little bit of the story of just a little bit about you, because we don't have that much time. I say a little bit, but just start us off with you and talk to us about some of the things that you had to overcome to be where you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are so many things that I've gone through in my life, but I was born in Arkansas. And I was like, our family was one of 3 Asian families in our small town of Black and white people. So I was the only Asian kid in my class of Black and white kids. And a really nice thing was that they didn't treat me any differently.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, wow. So in the 7 years that I was there, when you are a kid, like first grade and younger, kids don't see race.
Yeah,
like I didn't learn. Right. I didn't learn about racism until I got to California and learning about the Rodney King beatings. And I was like, oh, goodness gracious. And Martin Luther King Jr. was actually my first role model in junior high. And in a way, I sometimes feel like he's like my spiritual father, because I hate it when people are treated differently and discriminated for looking different, like even within schools. And so, like, I remember in junior high, I wrote an article about wanting everyone to feel that they are the same as everyone else, no matter how different you are, that all of us are the same, that we're all equal, and that nobody's worth is more or less than anyone else's. And so, in the same way, I think that when I started to embark on, the mental health movement, I wanted people with emotional struggles, mental
Different.
health conditions to, know that you're no less than anyone else.
So I have to ask you, so listening to you, your past conversation sounds to me to be so welcoming, inclusive, and open. What drove you to mental health? As you said, you started on your mental health journey. What was was there something that was an impetus that to push you there?
My parents.
Well, and I'll add a little bit more specificity to Marla's question. You talk about being held back by fear. Explain that to us.
So in the Asian culture, you're supposed to save face, and saving face means like you do not express any emotions, and you just, because if you share any problems with other people, that is a no-no. Just as like boys are taught, oh, man up, don't cry,
Right.
don't be a sissy. And so in the Asian culture, saving face is about the same thing. You just don't share your dirty laundry out with everyone else. And but that can cause people to shun you and push you away. But everybody's got them. Everyone is a human. And so why do we have to pretend not that we're not a human? And in the Asian culture, with the model minority myth, we're so good at blending in and not complaining, and and that's why we got that label.
Stereotype
Well,
came from.
because now that you couch it in that way, it leads me to ask a question, a follow-up question. Is that based on Asian Americans, or in their home countries of origin, do they also have the same mentality of not sharing or saving face, as you put it, to the extent that in America it would seem like, yes, the minority factor becomes an issue, but I would seem at home the minority factor wouldn't be an issue.
So in Asia, the stigma is so strong in Asia. I went back to Taiwan last November, and I was trying my darndest to find any English speaking support group that they might have over there, but like I could only find AA groups in English. And
Wow.
and so I literally had to wake up in the middle of the night in order to attend any support groups based in the US, back here in California. So the stigma is so strong. From my perspective, it seems that they're only willing to talk about that suicide prevention if you have a master's, PhD, MD. Like you have to have those higher degrees in order for anyone to have respect to start a conversation with you. Otherwise, it's just, who are you?
So on the show, Emily, we like to refer to, we call it brain differences. So when someone has a difference, and so was there something in the mental health space that was different about you that brought you here?
Well, I mean, I would call that neurodiversity. And I think that ever since I was a child, like I have been an old soul in a young body. In junior high, I wanted to talk about like very deep subjects. I wanted to talk about the meaning of life and, why existentialism. And none of my peers even knew how to have those kinds of conversations. They were
At
just
that
like,
age, of course.
yeah, like they just want to talk about gossip or talk badly
Right,
about someone else, and it's just like, I don't care about any of this and
right,
celebrity
Yeah.
gossip. It's like, it just has nothing to do with me. Like, but
right.
it's like I started to realize how much young people revere people on TV. And they find their role models on TV because if their role models are not at home, they want to be like all the stars on the TV and get all that
Right.
attention.
That's where they identify, right?
Yeah. And so like, but the reason why I went into mental health was because of my parents, because I wanted to fix them. And I was like, I'm going to become a therapist and I'm trying to fix my parents. But then I realized I can't fix my parents because they are their own person.
Correct.
And, you know, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
But you can hose the horse down with the water.
You can try.
You can, you know, scrub the horse up a little bit. That can work. No, I totally understand and totally agree wholeheartedly. And so I know that, you know, I kind of don't want to start us and run us into a break, but I'm going to get started anyway. So when the pain into beauty, how did that start?
So in the more recent years, I actually have been finding my creative outlet. And because in the Asian culture, perfectionism is like a strong trait that many of us have. We're trying to, like, nothing is ever good enough until you make it perfect. But we get so caught up in the tiniest little details that those details can stop us from, you know, Dave, you were asking me about fear. It's those tiniest little mistakes that I will encounter or find that stop me from being able to move into the direction of creativity, because I think the opposite of creativity is trying to be perfect, and which is actually very unrealistic, you know? And yeah, and because creativity is basically kind of going down a path of unknown, making something out of nothing, and allowing yourself to just engage in that space of just like a blank palette, right? What do you want to do with it, you know? And sometimes you're so stuck on perfectionism, it's like you don't have a path, you don't have someone else to show you what this path looks like. And so I've so my father passed away 11 months ago.
Oh, Emily, we are so sorry to hear that. We're so sorry to hear that. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna take a little break. Okay. We're gonna take a little break, and we'll come back to.
I want to hear more about that when we return.
Absolutely.
It's time for the Mental Health Minute with Marla and Dave.
When it comes to mental health, many people believe that therapy and self-help aren't necessary when a simple prescription or a pill will suffice. The fact is, specific treatment for mental health problems varies depending on the individual and could include medication, therapy, and in many cases both, according to mentalhealth.gov.
Many individuals choose to build and work with the support system during the healing and recovery process. Having a good support system and engaging with trustworthy people are key elements to successfully talking about your own mental health, and is often the very first step to helping you heal, grow, and recover.
A support system can include a trained mental health professional, a parent or other family member, a teacher, and or a faith leader.
When building a support system, please remember, in addition to good advice, look for someone who can assist you in taking action that will help. This message has been brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
David is a thinker. I never do anything without thinking about it first. Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker.
Emily, when we left you last, unfortunately, we left you at a very important but emotional point. And I know that I'm going to just recap that when I ask you what brought you to mental health, the driving factor were your parents, and you were saying that about 11 months ago, unfortunately, you've recently lost your father. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you continue from there.
Yeah. Well, you know, death is part of life. And I think that over the last year, I feel like I've been going through so much transformation. And sometimes transformation is good, but it's also very chaotic and hard and challenging. But that in order for a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, mm-hmm. they have to go through the metamorphosis in the cocoon. And so I feel like I've been in a cocoon for quite some time and going through all this shakiness, but I know it's like I'm learning through every experience, even through the death of my father. And so the creativity started when I should probably, well, you know, this is my dad's casket, and you know how like after when someone has the roses, you know, the memorial site was like, hey, you know, we don't need these anymore. Do you want them? I said yes. And I made this.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So I've been doing, so what I call those are my floral heart mandalas, and you'll get a preview of them during my August, so the Pathways to Hope conference coming up.
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking on August 26th morning, and if people register, it's free, virtual. You can access it anywhere you are. And it's the online program is going to be from like 6:30 to 8 a.m. our Pacific Standard Time, because it's an East Coast program. But anyways, in that presentation, you'll get to see more of my artwork, because like I've basically been doing so much more since, and I even drew this.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
So because my father passed away from a cardiovascular issue, and so like I wrote here, I'm healing from me and my daddy. So
Emily, is your mom still with us?
Yes, my mom is still here. You know, I've been her caregiver for the last 5 years, and I love her dearly, but sometimes with family you also have to set healthy boundaries. And sometimes when it's very difficult for people to change, you know, it's like, oh, sometimes you have to take a step back.
And the older, the harder, trust.
Yeah. And so, oh, by the way, this is the 3D version of the same picture. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I did that one at my art show with Painted Brain recently. So but everything I've been doing ever since my father passed away, whether it be dancing, whether it be singing, whether it be doing art.
Your expression of healing is creativity, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. And so I use, because actually like when, if you go to my Instagram, like the second post I have up pinned is this. So this is the second heart mandala that I did after the Monterey Park mass shooting. And so I felt a lot, like Asians don't grieve very well. And so they express it through flowers, and, you know, because heavy emotions are just so hard to digest sometimes. So I decided, you know, when I was there, I was like, I want to make this place look really pretty. And, you know, and because if you look behind here, you'll see it's just like a piles and piles of like all these different flowers. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just so messy. I want to make something beautiful. And that's why I decided to make this. And even part of it is dedicated to Twitch. I said, say hi to Twitch for us because
Mm.
we lost him to suicide, you know.
Yeah, surprisingly so, but yes, another heartbreak.
Emily, Emily,
Yeah.
I love the fact that you you don't limit your creativity to just visual art or performance art. It's just whatever you feel is an artistic expression. But something that you keep referring to, and you talk about in the Asian community, that the expectation is to bottle up all of your heavy emotions, and then try to express it in other ways. Um, do, do you find that, and I'm talking about you specifically now, does that part of sort of holding in all of that, does that is that part of that fear that you were talking about that you were having a hard time moving on from?
I think so, because the more that you hold in all your emotions, it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
if you allow your anger to build up,
Mm.
and then if you never communicate how you truly feel, then you will eventually blow up.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Pressure.
And so
Like
I
you
think,
brought-
yeah, it is a process to learn how to articulate, communicate your needs, advocate, um, to be able to, speak up for yourself. And because our traditional Asian parents don't teach that to us. Like, we also need to improve on all of our conflict resolution skills. And many people do not like confrontation at all. Like, they're scared that,
Mm.
if you say something or you do something, like there's liability issues that you're going to sue them. And it's like, no, I just want to have an open, honest, courageous conversation with you.
Mm.
If you care about this relationship, I want to have that type of communication.
Right.
With,
so do you find have you found that your perspective that you were put in this position, or that you accepted this position so that you could be a voice, a lane for your community in particular, because for the Asian community?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like over the last 10 years being involved with LA County Department of Health, with NAMI, becoming a facilitator for their support groups and classes, it's like I've learned so many coping skills and advocacy skills over the last 10 years. And I can, I can only keep on going. I mean, RBG, I think she said, take breaks, but stay woke, and advocates, like, we have to learn how to take breaks, or else our system will not change overnight.
Right.
We have to just, and MLK said, accept infinite disappointment, but never lose finite hope, or something like that. So, it's and Nelson Mandela even said, I never lose. I either win or I learn. So I know I've been doing a lot of learning.
That's a really good one to hold on to.
I know, right? So it's like I'm always thinking, whenever I'm faced with a challenge, I'm like, okay, God, okay, universe, what life lesson are you teaching me now?
Sometimes those lessons are easier understood than others. But I mean, that's such a wonderful perspective, and just the way that you have really focused on that message of transforming pain into beauty, both with your artwork and your creativity in general, and also in taking into account, as we all have to do, some of the issues that we have to deal with from our the way we were born, the families that we were born into. We're going to take a little break. We're going to come right back and continue our discussion with Emily Wu Truong. We'll be right back. All right, just like that, we are back.
It's time for you to get your pole hat on to be able to answer the questions. Now, Yes, Emily.
Oh my goodness.
So now that you're going all in,
Ready
Emily,
to go.
I'm also going to give you the honor today of being our honorary pole dancer. From your
Woo! Yeah,
let's see
here
what
we
you
go.
got. Let's see what you got going on. Let's go, Emily. It's time for the pole dance.
Oh my gosh, you really want me to dance? Oh gosh.
I have to do something. There you go. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Woo! I mean, that might be the best pole dance we've ever had on this.
Let me just tell you, Emily just made history. I think you might have been the only one in 3 years that's actually full on taking on the dance challenge. That's pretty good.
Well, and the reason why we call it pole dancing is time for our poll question. The poll question last week started with this information, this little factoid. It's estimated that 1.6% of the adults in the U.S. population have been diagnosed with BPD or borderline personality disorder. But that number may be as high as 5.9%. The question is, what percentage of all people in the U.S. diagnosed with borderline personality disorder are women? Your options are 25%, 50%, or 75%.
Now, Dave, can I guess, since it's not on the thing and I wasn't here last week? The answer's not on here.
The answer is on there.
It is?
It's not indicated like you would think, but I do have the correct answer.
But I don't have it, so I can't cheat. So I can answer with
Okay,
Emily.
that's true. That's true.
Right, Emily,
you
what
and
do you
Emily
think?
can actually take a stab at it.
You think it's 25, 50, or 75% of those who are diagnosed with borderline personality being women?
I don't know. 25.
I'm gonna say 75%.
Really? Oh.
I'm going for the big guns. I'm going for the C note. I want that C note.
Emily, do you agree with her?
You choose 75, I'll choose 50. Okay, now Dave, tell us
All
the answer.
right, now the actual answer is 75%. And I do believe our guest last week guessed that as well.
Wait, according to who?
According to, you can actually just Google that number. You can Google that information right now, and you will see that it's true.
You know what happened, Emily? You know what happened to you right here? You know why you guessed 50? Because you took your pole hat off. Let's give you another chance. What percentage of Americans, Emily, will meet the criteria for a diagnosable mental health condition at some point in their lifetime? 27%, 46%, or 62%?
I don't know, maybe the lowest one, because a lot of people are scared of getting mental health care.
So you're going to say 27%?
Yeah.
All right, that's great. And you've done a marvelous job. Keep that lucky hat on and show up next week to see that you got the answer, because the answer will air on next week's show.
That's been amazing. Thank you for indulging us and playing along. We're going to get right back to the conversation.
All right, we're back. So, Emily, you've been amazing. Our time is never long. Oh, look at that hat.
You got hats for days. You got a hat fashion show.
Her hats are amazing. I just left Hawaii. I could have used some of those buckets.
Well, Emily, do you design those as well?
I do not. I find them. My first one was at the thrift store, and then I bought this one on Amazon, and then I found this one in Santa Monica.
So cute, and they all look amazing on you.
Yeah, well, it goes with my modern day hippie look.
All right. Well, let me just say that we're happy that you were able to join us, and we're even more ecstatic that you were able to bring your perspective and your truth and share your journey. What we do here on Mental Health Mondays is exactly that. It's one conversation at a time, understanding that every conversation about mental illness and mental wellness is worth having and hearing, everyone. So we appreciate you being part of one of those conversations today on our show. And I'm going to turn the show over to you for a finish.
Indeed. You know, we always want to hear what your parting message is for today. And you speak about the fact that we're all works in progress. And we'll turn it over to you.
And let us know at the end where everybody can find you.
Yeah, so I have hold on. So I'm on Instagram, Emily W Speaks, SPEKAKS. When I was starting my Instagram, I was like, okay, what should I use? And I felt like Emily W Speaks was good because as I was learning to speak out again, like speak and find my voice and uh, so I wrote a spoken word called We Are All Works in Progress, and I'm trying to look for it now. Just like, wait, where the heck did it just go? Just like right when you are looking for it, it just
Well, maybe you can give us, since you wrote it, the general sentiment to close
The
out.
idea about it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, We Are All Works in Progress is about, me trying to encourage someone to know that they're not alone in themselves growing as a person. And it's like when you want to be a role model for other people, it's so important for you yourself to be that role model first. And that's kind of like, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so
be the change you want to see.
Exactly. Be the change you want to see in the world. And then, you'd hope that other people could start to become like you or be like you. And because you become who you hang out with. And so, but then at the same time, it's also very important to be nice to yourself, to be forgiving of yourself, and know that through every step of the way in your life that you are actually progressing, even if you don't feel like it, because there are days when you just feel like, oh my God, you're so stuck in despair that you don't know if any miracle will even happen, and you don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
But it's like my poem is about like hanging tight. You're learning, you're still learning, even though you don't feel like you are. But you're a work in progress, just like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a perfect message to end with. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. And remember, everybody, you want to catch her on August 26th. Is that what you said?
August 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Speaking
go
at
to NAMI. Yeah, go to NAMI.org. Look up Pathways to Hope Conference. It's free registration from 6:30 to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
thank you so much. Thank you for speaking with us. And you guys, we have a great show planned for you next week. And the following week, we'll be talking with my friend Victor Wooten, probably the best bass player. You never know, but you definitely want to check that one out. See you guys next week.
All right. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Raw, real, and unfiltered.